Good morning, English 10. It's Mrs. Rianda. I hope you guys are having a good week. I hope you had a great weekend. And I also hope you are enjoying your Steinbeck novels. The feedback that I've been seeing on the discussion board is that many of you do enjoy it, are enjoying his work. So that is fantastic news. What we're going to be doing this week is we're going to be continuing our study in reading of Steinbeck. I hope you are reading every day. Remember, like it says up here, if you read 10 to 15 pages every day, then you will be on track for this unit. If you fall behind, if you are a slow reader, then you'll have a harder time keeping pace and keeping on track for your reading. Definitely don't want to get behind in the reading. So set a daily goal, that daily goal being reading 10 to 15 pages and completing the assignments. Okay, so what we're doing today, clicking on Unit 3, Session 2, and here is our recommended timeline. So on Wednesday, today, you should review the curriculum. You should be reading and journaling. You should also begin your found poem. On Thursday, continue to read and journal. Post on the discussion. Friday, read and journal. Do you guys see a trend here? Read and journal, read and journal. Then complete your found poem, comment and discussion, and then finally submit your journal. Your journal is something that you should be referring to as you are reading. As you can see, read and journal, read and journal. So the best thing to do is to print out the journal you selected or keep it handy and refer to it. Every time you read, you should refer to the journal and see what you need to do depending on what option you chose. This unit and this session is definitely something that is hard to do if you don't work every single day. So quality work means that you are working every day in this unit. So click on Session 2, and as always, watch this video first, and then click on the Welcome session. And like I mentioned, in this unit, we're going to be continuing our Steinbeck novels. We're going to be also writing a reader response journal like we did in last session. In connection with the reading, begin discussing the novel. And then we're also going to be writing a found poem using the language in the text, which is going to be a lot of fun. Also, do pay attention to all the images in this session because they are connected to all the novels. Okay, so like I mentioned, last week you read a quarter of your novel. This week you'll be reading the next quarter. So by 1 week from today, you should have half of your book completed. Again, read 10 to 15 pages every day and you should be just fine. So after you finish, as you are reading, here's the really important part. As you are reading, keep a list of words or phrases that you find particularly meaningful in the book. So if you have a book that's actually yours or your mom or dad's or your sisters or brothers, something that you don't have to give back to anybody, highlight, use a pencil. I, as a reader, when I have a book in hand, I would have a pencil in hand, and I would underline, highlight, make notes in my book. So this is a really good thing to do. As you are reading, use a highlighter or use a pencil if you have to return the book to the library so you can come back and erase it. And underline words, phrases, meaningful language, figurative language that just sticks out to you. They can even be phrases that have you puzzled or that you're confused about. So by the time you finish reading, you should have about 20 to 30 words or phrases. Again, they don't have to make sense. They're just words or phrases that are interesting to you for whatever reason or questioning or confusing. We'll use these words and phrases in the assignment later in this session. So this part's super important. So again, as you are reading, you are journaling. And down at the bottom of this screen are the 4 different types of journals that you can keep. You can also create your own combo order, and if you do that, please clear it with me first. But on each of these 4 different literary journals, it has 3 parts to it. Okay, so when you are doing your journal, make sure that you complete all 3 parts to get the most points for this assignment. And then this document down here, the reading comprehension strategies, that goes along with part 2 of your journal. Again, all in those files down there. So this reading journal, like I mentioned, has 3 parts. One of the options below, like last week. Part 2 are reading comprehension questions. And then part 3, you're going to list all of the words, important words or phrases that you underlined or highlighted from your reading. Okay, so those are the 3 parts that are required in this literary journal this week. And then you would submit that journal here, part 1, 2, and 3. And this is worth 80 points, so it's pretty big. Next, you're going to contribute to the discussion. So you need to answer one of these 3 questions in your discussion, and the discussion response should be about 150 to 300 words. Please be sure to go back and respond to at least 2 other students for your responses. So you should have a total of 3 responses in your discussion board this week. And it doesn't matter if you can respond to any student. It doesn't matter what book they read, just because of the nature of this class and the nature of Steinbeck. It's okay to respond to other students, because you can always refer to something in the about the author. Okay, so it's okay to respond to a person who's reading a different book. Again, 3 total. And then finally, you're going to write your Steinbeck found poem. So I'm not sure if you've written poetry before, but it's really fun, and you can't get it wrong. Basically, a found poem is a poem that takes tiny chunks of text, that like the ones that you've gotten from your journaling, from a piece of work, and arrange them together into a poem that conveys a similar idea to the original text. But in a poem, it's a lot shorter, right? So take a look at this example found poem at the bottom, and then taken from a section of a description in a longer short story. They're both attached on the below there. There's also another example on the chapter 13 of Tortilla Flat. Okay, so there's examples down here for you. Be sure to review them. So here's step 1. Take the words and phrases you found during this week's reading. Choose the ones that you think are the most important for this quarter of the book. Experiment with putting them together as a poem. You may cut words or rearrange them as you feel necessary, and you may add up to 2 words of your own. You may also make little changes in tense, possession, plurality, punctuation, so on. Do remember these things about when you're writing poems. Shorter lines have more emphasis than longer lines. Shorter lines slow the reader down, and longer lines speed up the reader. And then finally, the first and last words of a line carry the most weight. So those are things to think about as you're creating this poem. So read through your existing draft or poem draft. Does it convey a message about this half of your book? If not, continue adding, rearranging, and reordering the phrases until they come to represent the core idea of the events in this first half of the book. Okay, and then you're going to submit this book on the next page. Copy and paste it instead of using an attachment, just so that we can all, you can basically going to be sharing your poetry. So again, you would copy and paste it right here. And then that's it. You will be halfway done with your novel by the end of this week. If you have any questions, like always, please contact me. Thanks.